So it gives me great pleasure to introduce a very dear friend of mine that's an icon in the stuttering community. Anita Blom from Sweden. Take it away, Anita.
Thank you very, very much, Tom. Let me see if I can share my screen, because I'm pressing on it and nothing happens. So just a few seconds and see if my technique works. Let me see. It worked five seconds ago, but of course, when you are presenting, suddenly your computer wants to update. Let's see if you can see this. Can you see my screen here?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, wonderful, thank you. Right, so my name is Anita Blom, and as you know, this presentation is about sex. So let me start by telling you this joke. Did you hear about the old man and the nurse? Well, oh, there are minors in the room. Let me start again. Hi, my name is Anita Blom, and as you know, this workshop is about religion. So let me start by telling you this joke. There once was a priest, and oh, this is not appropriate either. Okay, third try. Hi, my name is Anita Blom, and as you know, this workshop is about stuttering. And I hope you find this okay to talk about, because it's about time we stop putting stuttering in the same do not talk about box as sex, religion, and other things we rather not talk about. And why? What are we afraid of? Today's theme is the eye of the tiger, redefining shame and fear. So let's have a close look at these two words, shame and fear. And I took it from the Oxford language. As we see here, shame, it says humiliation, embarrassment, but it also says words like guilt and remorse. And those are really, really heavy words. And it made me think, do we really have to have these feelings because we speak in a different way? Because that's the only thing. We speak in a different way. And the opposite is pride. So how can we exchange stuttering from mortification into pride? And also here it says pity, bad luck, bummer. No, stuttering is not bad luck. It is something we were born with. And also as a verb, when we look here, we have words like humiliate, mortify, embarrass. But is that something that we do to other people? Or is it something that other people make us feel? And when we look at the words fear, it says terror, fright, panic. Do we really have to feel all these fears just because we speak in a different way? Nightmare, complex mania, these are really horrible words. While the opposite is confidence. So can we really feel I only have 20 minutes, so my blocks will like so why not try to feel stuttering with confidence? This picture is taken at a stuttering conference in the UK a couple of years ago. We could all try a nail bed with a blanket on, but weird as I am, I asked the workshop leader, Bob, to let me try without the blanket, as he showed us himself in the beginning. He told me that this would be at my own risk, so I could get a punctured shirt, but also a punctured lung. But I still wanted to try it, and felt the fear and the adrenaline rushing through my body. So after explaining what to do and what not to do and giving me this pep talk, my adrenaline level was so high. So my pain level would minimize, and I tried it. And wow, this was such an amazing challenge. And he also taught me to put a nail in my nose, but I won't show you that one. Now, this man has a feature that is not usual. He might have felt ashamed over it, and it might have scared him and other people around him. But after realizing he could use it, he got famous. And now many people with a similar feature compete to get into the Guinness Book of Records. Suddenly, the unusual gets cool. Now, I was invited to speak to the European Parliament, and they told me I got three minutes to speak, and I said, no, I'm sorry. You have all these interpreters. You have taking out the carpet. I also need a bit of an adjustment, and I started, so I need more time. And they were like, we never thought of that. No, exactly. It's about time you do. So when it was my time, I got 4 minutes. But they listened. My father always taught us 7 children, don't be afraid, just be careful. Because when you're afraid, then you lose judgment. You just know something bad is going to happen. And as you know this, you're going to be afraid 24/7. But when you're careful and gain as much knowledge as possible about the reason of your fear, you know that something might happen, but now you're prepared in case something happens once. And you are prepared so you can move on. So when it happens, you're ready. And when it doesn't, well, at least you've been doing other things than worrying. And don't you think that this guy on the bike wouldn't be scared and wouldn't be worrying, and those guys lying on their head? I would be terrified. And yet they're doing it. And this dog is terrified as well, I think. Many of us are afraid and ashamed of talking and showing our stutter. Now, I've been hiding and even pretending to be mute for years. But that changed when I finally got angry. Because I love to talk. And what I have to say is not all that bad. So I started working on myself and to get rid of my fear and my shame. And in the same way, I started training at the gym to not to lose weight, but to stabilize my damaged back. And it was scary, and I was shameful over my body, comparing myself to those others with the perfect muscles. But later on, I realized that what I do is maybe even greater, because I have to work so much harder to be in the place where I am and to get into that place where I want to be. So my mental training exercises was to start talking and stop hiding my stutter. And also there, I started comparing myself to those who had the perfect speech. But then it was so tiresome. I let go of my need to speak perfect, and instead kept on training by expanding my comfort zones until my love for talking was greater than my fear of stuttering. And from that moment on, I haven't been silent. Ask my husband. Now, for some training, it means, for some, training means speech training, but for others, it's mental training. And why not even both? Because it's fine either way. Of course, it's good to be afraid sometimes, because it keeps you from getting hurt. But how many times did we fall off that bike, but we kept on getting up until we finally managed to stay on? And do you remember that feeling when you shouted out, "Look at me, I can do this"? And of course you're afraid, because falling hurts. But the joy of finally saying, "Yes, I did it," is such an amazing feeling. And again, I'm not talking about speaking fluently. I am talking about talking no matter what. And to come out of that silent closet, about not letting the fear rule your life. And maybe it's not us who need to make a change, but our listeners who just need to let us speak without giving advice on how to be fluent and how to take a deep breath and then where to go to get fluent speech. The only thing we need is for them to listen and to not have that look. And if they really do, they might be surprised what wisdom and fun comes out of us. So be afraid of getting a sunburn. Be afraid of losing a friend, but don't be afraid of stuttering, because stuttering is not a threat, not to us and not to anyone. And some of us oldies might remember this guy. It's the lion from the Wizard of Oz. He went to the wizard to get courage, and in the end, it showed he had courage all along. He just didn't realize it, and others had to convince him. And now that's where we come in as peers. Because it's easier said than done. You don't wake up one day feeling strong and confident or fluent for the rest of your life. In fact, I'm reading this as my stutter is now kind of biggie, so it wouldn't fit in a 20-minute slot or maybe even a 30-minute slot. So I'm reading it, not for you, but for me. And I not always want to speak. Again, it's not because of shame. It's simply because it takes too much energy, or the music is too loud, or my listener isn't interested. And it's fine, because I know it's not defeat. I'm just being nice to myself. Because my speech, my choice. Now, this is Kelly Knox. And she was in Marie Claire, a high-class fashion magazine. And she is a gorgeous woman. And did you notice that a part of her arm is missing? In an interview, she explained she simply didn't care about her missing arm. She just wouldn't wear long sleeves to try and hide it. She didn't care. And maybe those are the key words. She simply didn't care. So I'm sure there was a time she felt shame and fear. Fear of being rejected. Fear of people talking behind her back. But she wanted to be a model. And she became one, despite, or maybe even because she's missing a body part. But it's hard to do it alone. And I have a bunch of great friends from all over the world cheering me when I feel I can't do it, keeping me from drowning. Now it is a bit hard in this pool in Iceland, but they sure keep me from drowning and pulling me up when I lose the will to keep on trying. So share fears and problems and you will diminish them. Share friendship and successes and you double them. Just as we do now, these 24 hours, we are sharing and we are learning from each other. And it's such a great feeling to lift up others when you're on a high. And if I would die tomorrow, my biggest joys in life was to host children camps for 30 years and European youth camps and see these kids change from day one. When they don't want to speak, they don't want them to look at you, and in the end they are standing on stage and they go home, and one of them told me he wants to be in his country Got Talent and he wants to be on stage telling people he stutters, and he made a song about it. And that's what it's all about. It's to do it, to keep talking. So life is the greatest gift we can give and are given. So why waste time to live life in shame and fear? Will life end when we stutter? Or will it start when we manage to leave the fear behind us? Look at this baby. It has no fear, but it learns to have fear. But as long as it's a baby, it just jumps in and it breathes. Well, it knows what to do underwater. So it's when people started telling this baby, this is dangerous, then the child realize it. And in the same way, we can learn children, you can do this. And is stuttering really a reason to be shamed? Or is it something we're taught to feel by others who don't know what stuttering is? And they don't know how to be a good listener. And stuttering is simply something that we do. and not who we are. So why feel shame over something that's not our fault? So do we fear stuttering itself, or do we fear people's reactions to our stutter? Now, we can't change people's perceptions, nor their prejudices, but we can change how we react to them. And we have every right to say what we want to say, whether that's by using techniques or reading, or simply speak and let the stuttering be a part. And why put energy into guessing what people think, and instead put energy into being our own best friend, a person we accept and love, just the way we are, just like our friends do. Now let's look the stuttering tiger in the eye. Show it off and let people know it's nothing to be afraid of. Once they understand, they will lose their fear and react in a different way, and that will decrease your shame and increase your sense of pride. Now, as you can see, this is from Frankie Venke again. Penny also showed it. He has the tiger analogy that I learned so much from. It's to be friends with your tiger, to be friends with your stutter. So let's take back control of the way we ourselves decide to speak, without fear and without shame, because we've already shown that we're survivors, we're fighters, because we're doing something that's hard, but we're still doing it. And now, if that's not something to be proud of. So I was so pleased to hear that even in Abu Dhabi, stuttering is called our unique dialect, because that's exactly what it is. We speak, we just do it in a different way. Now, stuttering might not be something we wished for, but we can make the best of life with stuttering in it, either by acting or making a change, or by accepting we stutter and accepting other people's reactions. And these two even go hand in hand, because accepting that we stutter, but still working on our speech and our self-worth and our confidence and our love of speaking, it also goes hand in hand with other people who stutter, who are there for you 24/7 all over the world. There are thousands of people here. And you'll hear more stories from people and organizations and lots of other interesting sessions. Because if you stutter, you're not alone. There are 1,000 people who have registered on this amazing online StutterFest and who are looking forward to hearing your voice. So maybe next year, you're one of the presenters, or giving a presentation at the ISAD online conference. And most of all, share stuttering pride with children who stutter. Because as growth starts with pride and self-worth, no matter how we speak, look, or are, we are special in any way. If you want to hear more about the elephant in the room, thoughts and tips on how to change your mindset, and this doesn't go only for people who stutter, but also for parents, speech therapists, and listeners, everyone around us, join me for a free online masterclass tomorrow, organized by Transcending Stuttering, tomorrow at 12 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. CEST, 4 p.m. UTC. But for now, remember just one thing. You're good enough just the way you are. So keep talking and keep your children talking, because what we say is worth repeating. Thank you. Now, if you want to contact me, you can always email me at scatsis@gmail.com, and you can guess why my nickname has become Scatsis. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything else you want to share, you can reach me at this email. Thank you.